Long enough. Let's get to the main subject. Let's get Tom Lackey. Tom is running for the 34th Assembly District. That's the new area that represents Agua Dulce Canyon Country and all the points north. So I'm glad you guys came out to meet him. I'm not sure if you knew him before, but you know, now you're going to see him as our candidate for our new district. And with that,
where is he now?
oh yeah, Tom is presently Assemblyman of the 36th District, which is not as big. Well, it is big. It's just as big as the new one, but it's different size, and it only includes active. That's why half you guys might have voted for Tom and the other half didn't. And
now Agua Dulce, Tom will represent Agua Dulce.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
hopefully.
No,
All right.
you will.
You will. You got to think positive. All right, with that, let
Let me begin by thanking you all for spending a little time with us here today and getting to know who I actually am. For those of you who don't know, my real job was to be a highway patrolman. I was a CHP joining my career. Well, thank you.
I think you gave me a ticket.
At least I didn't arrest you. That's a good
Hey,
thing.
you deserve 2 tickets.
The good news is, and I'm very familiar with this region. I grew up in a little town called Boron. Some of you may know where that is. My dad was the town dentist there. And I understand rural issues, and I think that's what's important. Because unfortunately, the state... That's okay.
Yeah,
Now, what I'm trying to say is rural policy is becoming a problem. It's not becoming. It's been a problem for a long time. But it's getting worse. And I don't need to tell you that because you guys live it. You live the fact that most of the legislature are from very urban areas or suburban.
Yeah.
Suburban is actually the majority of my district right now because it's Lancaster-Palmdale. Well, that's the real population centers. Each one of us in the state assembly represent about 500,000 people. That's a lot of people. But most of my district is still more rural than it is, and especially now with this new division. The new division just split the Antelope Valley in half. And the freeway is the dividing point. Not that you really care up over the hill, but I'm going to tell you anyways, because it does impact you if you're in the 34th, because the dividing point is the freeway, and as soon as you hit LA or Kern County, it's all Kern County. It goes. So we still have Edwards Air Force Base, and we still have all the Kern County that we've had for a long time. But the good news is we get Agua Dulce, which is a gift to me because I know this area very well, and I feel like it probably should have been part of my district for a long time. Suzette Balladares is your assembly member now, and she's who I sit next to on the assembly floor, so I know her very well, and we work very well together, as does the state senator, Scott Wilt, works very well with us. But I think what's important for you to know, I don't want to bore you with all the details of the new division line, but you should know that the majority of my district now is very rural. Very rural. In fact, as we go clear down to the lower desert, and we have 29 palms as part of our area even. So that's how far it is, and we go to the Nevada border. So I have a lot of lizards in this district.
They both?
some of them.
Some party might try to figure that out. Nonetheless, what I want to tell you is that I'm very proud to represent the rural community because a lot of people don't really understand it, right? I mean, if you've lived it, you really understand it, and you understand how real these issues are. And I know, I was just talking to one of the persons here earlier today, and we were talking about the ridiculous circumstance of fire issues. That is a very, very big deal. And what's happening is the rural legislators are feeling like they shouldn't carry the risk burden because they don't live in those rural atmospheres. But we carry their burdens all the time. right? This homelessness stuff and all these other big burdens. That's why we're called the United States, right? Or that's why we're collectively supposed to work together and not divide each other up and alienate each other. We're supposed to collectively work as a team. But what's happening through the legislation, in my opinion, is that rural communities are becoming separate and becoming viewed as a burden. And it's really disgusting, truthfully. And so there are many of us, and you got to remember that the northern part of the state has a lot of rural regions, but there's just not as many legislators, right? For example, this new district that I have, geographic-wise, is enormous. Population-wise, it's the same. And so the distortion is a frustration, because it seems like land size should be at least a consideration, right? But it's really, it's challenging to battle. I'll just put it that way. But there are many of us that are fully committed to representing and fighting for you as hard as we know how. And here's my opinion too. You got to remember, I'm a member of the super minority party. We have, out of 80 assembly members, we have 19. When I got elected in 2014, we have 28. We're not moving in the right direction, is what I'm trying to tell you. And so it's time to trend back. And it's not going to happen in one election. It's not going to happen in 2 elections. It's going to happen in several. We can't quit, right? I don't know if you know as many people as I do, but I know many of my good friends don't even live here anymore. They don't live in this state. And a lot of it is because they feel frustrated. And they felt like they were pushed out. So I'm asking for those of you who are still here, probably here for a reason, let's work together. Let's work together and let's be smart on how we work and know that we're not going to change California in the next 2 years, but we can move in that direction. We can at least slow this crazy tide that's moving way to the extreme left. Some of the things that are being adopted as policy are head-scratching to me. And I'm not afraid to speak up. I want you to know that I'm retired, right? So I'm not developing all these relationships that define me. I'm already defined. I've been in this game now for 8 years. And there are probably a number of votes that some of you would disagree with me on, because I do thousands of them, thousands and thousands of these votes. But what you should know is that the principal things that I find to be very valuable are under assault. They really are. And I'm not trying to demonize people that think differently than me, because I have to work with them. And so I'm trying to be smart in the way that I work with them. I'm not going to punch them in the mouth and run, because that doesn't do any good. All that does is, well, we have people that think that that's the smart way to do it, folks. We have legislators that I work with that share our values that think that that's all we got left. No, I disagree with that. I think the way to actually win is to be incremental and just be smart and don't punch them in the mouth. You don't need to, right? Just stand up for what you believe for, and you don't need to insult them. Because I think they're going to learn that they've shared the wrong perspective by bad consequences, right? And that's what changes people. And so just stand strong for what you believe in. Please be engaged and get others not to give up. Because I think there's a tendency when you're so outnumbered to give up and to become cynical and think that nothing matters anymore. Please don't do that, because that is defeat. And that is what will make us become what we don't deserve to become. I feel like I need to ride on a horse or something. You guys like horses out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that's part of my family, actually. Not me. I've had 2 runaways on horses, and I don't like them. I like them from a distance, because I don't know what I'm doing when I get on them, and that's the problem. But yeah, I'm going to give you a chance to ask me a couple questions, but I want you to know that you'll look long and hard before you find somebody who believes in what they believe in more than me. I never imagined myself at the state legislature. I mean, I'm from Boron, folks. I mean, seriously, I was 69 in my graduating class in high school. We knew everybody knew everybody, right? And it's kind of like that out here. My kids, I drove them to school every day. because I wanted them to have a rural education. I drove them to Acton out here. And I'm very proud of the education. You can say what you want about the education system, but it's serving them well right now because they've got balance from home influence, right? Please be engaged and pay attention to what your kids are learning. Pay attention to your kids' performance. Encourage them because society is goofing them out, in all honesty, in my opinion. And so let's all be a team. Let's be proud and be smart. Just be smart and don't give up. Don't let discouragement win. It's easy to get discouraged, and heck, if anybody has a reason to be discouraged, I could give some pretty good stories. So, anybody has a question for me, go ahead. Well, here's the really interesting point. What it did is it merged two Republican members. I'm running against another Republican, and he's from Apple Valley, and the new lines favor him. They favor him in a big way because he has almost 60% of the district now, and we have 38%. And that's why he beat me in the primary, guys. By a very small margin, he did beat me. But there was a Democrat that we barely beat. And so she's not in the running anymore, so it's Republican on Republican, and Democrats are not going to be excited to vote for any Republican, but I will let you know that I think that we have a better chance of getting some of their votes than he does. And so, overall, here's the beauty though. The beauty is, I'll have a Republican district. I haven't had a Republican district my whole time. I've had the 36th district, which is what I represent and have represented the entire time, has had almost an 11% registration advantage. I've represented a Democrat district my whole time, and I'm the only Republican that's done that to that degree. I mean, Ms. Valadares is also in a Democrat district, but only like by 3%. So, yeah. Good. So I think it depends on how you look at it. If I can get enough votes to win this general election, then I'm better off. Because, yeah, the district aligns with my thinking more than in the past. And it's not as hard for me to actually represent something that I believe. So I think it's going to favor me. I do plan on winning, just because I have too good of a team not to win. I'm usually the underdog every time. Every time. So I'm used to being the underdog, and I'm the underdog for a different reason this time, because he has more of the region. But we have a pathway.